Red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light.
Well, folks, as I say always as a Scotsman, you know it's time to pull up a drink, pull a chair, because it's time for another episode of the Soul Sessions. Of course, with always as your host, it's me, Soul. But with me today is a return, a big return nonetheless. Somebody from season 3, episode 66. They are back. Lexi Kimbo, welcome.
Hi, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm well recovered, back to my normal fighting self after a hellish January, but I'm alive nonetheless. But Lexi, most importantly, obviously you last appeared on this show on the 7th of August 2023, that long ago. Yes, I want to know how you been.
Girl, I've just been surviving. Like, the world is crazy. I've just been floating along. Like, honestly, so many wild things have happened since, but honestly, I've just been the same person.
Hey, you always got to stay the same self, and you know you'll always be rewarded. But hey, you've done pretty good for yourself. Obviously, 2024 was quite a year. A lot of things happened in the wrestling world, but obviously for yourself, quite an eventful one. Obviously, you put on a show, Divas Live, if I'm correct.
Yeah. So busted, I can't lie. Like, honestly, I was stressing so bad. Like, I had everything sorted, and then I was like, everyone asked me questions like 10 minutes before the show, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't even know what to do. And I just started panicking. And then, like, literally, it was so fun though. Like, it was so messy, but it was so fun. I met like all the queens. My drag mum was there. Well, both my drag mums. They're basically like my lesbian moms. Bucky and Vanity. They're so lovely. Vanity is Duke Cannon's husband or boyfriend, one of them. So I met her through FCW, which I've not been there in a while. Since 2023, I think. Which I don't know why everything stopped after 2023, but I just did. Yeah, but it was so fun. I would 100% do it again, but you know, your girl gotta save.
Hey, obviously, you know, we always got to save a bit of the money, but you know, events can be rewarding. And what's some lessons you would take, obviously, from the first Divas Live if you were to do a second one? What sort of, you know, experience you had, or something you do differently if you were going to do a second show?
Do it on a Saturday night. Like, a Saturday night, do not do it on a Sunday. That's the worst time to do a show is a Sunday. Like, do not do that ever, especially a drag show. Never on a Sunday, never.
Hey, that's it. Keep the Sunday away, but every other day of the week's open up for play. That's the fun of it as well. Obviously, as well, like, see, you know, I was going online and, you know, as I do, researching and seeing things within the wrestling world, and I saw this interesting reel on Instagram of somebody and their wife that went to a show, and the wife was saying that they felt like wrestling was, you know, straight RuPaul Drag Race. Like, that's what they thought it was. I mean, your thoughts on that? Do you think that's a valid reason? Do you think wrestling is the straight version of drag?
Who's the RuPaul? Is Triple H the RuPaul or what? Like, honestly, it genuinely is, because it's all just fake. Honestly, well, I mean, drag queens are like fake as fuck, but I mean, so are wrestlers behind the scenes. Honestly, it's just camp. We're just putting on a show, and it's honestly just great fun. Like, and we don't take it serious behind the scenes. We all take the piss out of each other. Same with drag. I mean, there's some egotistical people in both worlds, but you know, it's just a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you'll get egos in every walks of life, whether it's professional or personal. But at the end of the day, with wrestling and drag as well, I think the main thing is obviously always entertaining the audience, making sure they go away with a good time. That's just, you know, how things are. But obviously people will have egos, and that's just the nature of life. But nonetheless, Lexi, obviously as well, the wrestling world itself has been quite insane since we last talked. A lot of things have happened. WWE's gone to Netflix, high ticket prices. Cody Rhodes finished the story. AEW's doing their thing with Max. And what's some of your favorite wrestling events that have occurred in 2024?
Girl, do not even bring up those ticket prices. Like, what, £150 minimum? Like, I could go to like free concert. I got Lana Del Rey front row tickets for less than that. No, I can't even go to the Hydro and watch WWE for freaking less than £150. That is nuts.
Yeah.
Scottish. We're skin. We live in council houses. Anyways, top moments 2024. I'm trying to think. It's been a rough year. I'm trying to think what actually happened. I did like the Live in Rio story, but it just got boring after summers.
No, I
It got
think
sad.
you're hitting the nail on the head there, and I think that's a lot of people's thoughts on it, myself included, and many others. That it dragged. It was like the main women's story of Raw fighting over a man, continued on for so many months. Do you think that there's a problem with wrestling of long-term stories, that they sometimes go on a bit too long?
It got a bit boring, I'm not gonna lie. I liked the concept, but it should have just like ended sooner. They kept dragging it out. And then the thing is that they only showcased those two women. There was way more women in the roster that they could have showcased, but they were just like, let's put Liv and Rhea and fight over like this ugly Latino guy. Like, honestly, Dominic's so what else happened in 2024? I'm trying to think. I mean, my brain's like mashed potatoes, but yeah, I can't. I'm trying to think. What happened at WrestleMania again?
Oh, Cody finished his story. Jade Cargill debuted on the main roster with the tag match with Damage Control.
Good.
There's a fair bit going on there, but it was an eventful year nonetheless. I only do want to discuss the ticket prices. You kind of mentioned them there. Obviously, for viewers internationally may not be aware, Raw's coming to the Hydro in Glasgow, and it's like £300 for second level seats and all that, and it's extortionate. It's not fair, especially with the Scottish crowd. Why do you think within the wrestling landscape particularly prices are so high when you compare obviously Lana Del Rey, who's an exceptional artist, tickets are less than a wrestling event?
Girl, I literally just think it's like they need to pay their stars. They need to. I think it's just a business thing. Like, I mean, if they can get a full show with 150, with the freaking Barry, like the worst seats being 150 quid, and it's going to sell out even though it hasn't, then why not do it? Because they're going to make more money off it. Like,
wow. Triple H wants to have his, backstage conferences and say, this is now the most expensive, great, we've made the most money, we sold the most merch. So, you got to let him have his little backstage accolades. And that's how you do it with driving ticket prices up the wazoo. So we're all skint for 2-3 months afterwards. Yeah, we're not going to win on that part. Obviously, as well, a big thing for WWE as well. Besides obviously that Raw show, they've got things coming up. Paris, France, Clash in Paris. Obviously, before we'll get into that show, I know you've got some stuff coming up in France. If you'd like to share.
girl, I mean, I haven't fully announced it yet, but I've got a few shows in Paris. I'm so excited. Literally finished watching Emily in Paris, which I'm obsessed with, and then I get a booking from Paris, and I'm like, what in the quinky dink is this? But anyways, it's like so cool because it's called Drag Attack Wrestling, which is a mix between a drag show and a wrestling show. So they've got wrestling matches, and they've got drag artists performing throughout.
Wow, that's so
cool.
It's quite a mix of the worlds. I mean, we kind of said, wrestling's like the straight man's RuPaul Drag Race, but a full combination of the two, with the Drag Attack Pro in France. Was it about that kind of mixture of a drag show and wrestling that you think could really add to a show's benefit for the viewers?
Oh my god, that's a crazy question. Drag queens are funny. Like, you're not like, if you saw RuPaul fight, that would be so funny. Like, why wouldn't you want to see a drag queen kick ass? Like, that is cool as fuck. Like, all the wrestlers and men's wrestling just wear boxers and fight. That's so boring now. We need something different. We need different wrestlers that are not just men in boxers and just the stereotype that are muscly men in boxers. Like, I'm so bored of that. I want a drag queen that kicks ass.
It'll be definitely quite a quite a viewpoint there for the viewers, and I'm sure it'll be an absolute fun show as well. But I'm also correct, obviously, with this France booking, it'd be your first ever international booking as well.
Yeah, first ever international booking, and it's the first wrestling show that I am doing this year, and it'll be the first singles match that I've had since June 2023. So that's a long time I've been out, been dominating the drag world, don't get me wrong, but I'm ready to step back in the ring. First ever juniors of PWR Pro. So don't get me wrong, I've been training for 6 years. I know what I'm doing, and it's time to show what I can do as well.
No, absolutely. You've got that time of knowledge behind you, and it's going to add to your time in the ring as well. I'd obviously like to know as well, because the French, they're an interesting culture. They're a fun bunch from what I experienced back in my youth days. They're a fun bunch. But I want to know, how do you feel going to wrestle for an international audience? Do you think there's anything you'll do differently, or how they will react, or how you prepare yourself?
Honestly, I'm excited to just learn their style of wrestling. Like, I am so interested in, learning new cultures and, learning new styles of wrestling. I mean, that's why I'm going to Madrid in August and learning that style of wrestling. I'm actually not a big fan of British wrestling, I can't lie, but that's the style that I'm kind of doing now, because I am under Andy Roberts, who is like one of the best British wrestlers in the UK, and he's like, that is his style. So I've got that style up to the T, but I've always been more of a lucha fan. Like, I love that style. I love the high fly and stuff. I just want to see people being thrown through tables and jump off the top rope. It's so fun.
Oh, the lucha style, from the likes of obviously AAA, CMLL, many adventurous styles there from the lucha. And obviously we're seeing luchas do so well. Obviously Penta in the WWE now, Rey Mysterio.
That Rumble beginning was absolutely awesome. Like, I love that so much.
It was definitely a fun one. So I've obviously got to ask your thoughts. What's your thoughts on Jey Uso being the winner of the 2025 Royal Rumble?
Girl, I was hoping for John Cena the whole time. Like, don't get me wrong. It was just like one push and you're out. I was like, really? But it was like a good surprise. Like, I've not been that surprised in a long time. It was good. He's obviously Gunter or whatever his name is. Like, so obvious.
Yeah, there's the history there, so that's obviously what will happen as well. But I know something you were quite happy about was a return of Little Miss Bliss, Alexa Bliss, in the Women's Royal Rumble. Just your thoughts on her return and what we like to see Alexa do with her return to the WWE.
Girl, I was actually screaming. Like, first ever wrestling show with my dad. So I still remember the Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch match and how it ended and like all the spots. And I was like, what, like 8 years old? I still remember it. But honestly, it's so weird because you watch your like favorite as a young person, and then it's just like you grew up, but they also grew up as well. So you've seen her for 10 years. It's been like 10 years, which is absolutely nuts. But I've also grown 10 years. So she really got me into wrestling and into WWE and stuff. When I watched the women's wrestling SmackDown 2016, it was like that sort of era that got me back into WWE. But I'm so pumped for her to come back because that new gear, like, she knew she slayed when she ripped that skirt off. Like, she was like, I'm gonna give you a reveal and I'm gonna gag you all. But because she's on SmackDown, she's 100% going back to Wyatt Six. Like, there's no.
Yeah, that's definitely the plan there. Even her little Lily doll had a 6 in its eye, so there's teasers there. There's all the evidence we have for what's going to happen to Alexa Bliss in the main roster, but. She is obviously. Sorry?
I want to see her versus Liv so badly.
Her versus Liv. Oh, that will definitely make some people very, very happy for that kind of matchup. But maybe at WrestleMania, or do you think maybe it should be Wyatt Six and Alexa versus Judgment Day?
That would be so cool. I would love to see like a Nikki Cross Bliss reunion, but like evil vibes, like evil badass bitches vibes. And but I don't even know if I'm allowed to swear, but I'm from Glenrothes, so that's kind of what I do. Sorry. But versus like Raquel, like, is she like what, the female Undertaker or what? Like, I have no idea what they're doing with her. She literally, she's going for like what is that gear?
I don't know. I still remember doing like the wing things over her shoulders that people really liked. I don't know
No,
why.
and like she was just like dead silent.
It is what it is. But obviously, you know, Alexa didn't win the Women's Royal Rumble. The winner of the Women's Royal Rumble was the Queen, Charlotte Flair. Not a lot of people are happy. The YouTube video of her win got 75,000 dislikes. So there's a clear people don't like it. Just your thoughts on that, Lexi, and do you think people are overreacting as wrestling fans usually do?
It was so obvious that she was going to win. That's what made it like terrible. Like it was so obvious. They announced it 3 weeks before, and she's like, "I'm gonna win," and I'm like, "Yeah, we all know that." Honestly, maybe if they kept it as a prize, it would have been a wee bit better. But like, I think like she's like the Brock Lesnar of the women's division. I'm not even gonna lie. She just goes in and she steals the title. Like it happens every time. Like she's winning that title at WrestleMania. There's no.
Yeah, no ifs, ands, or buts. Do you think it's her and Tiffy or her and Rhea again?
Her and Tiffy.
Mm.
It's definitely gonna be Tiffy Stratton.
Yeah, the Queen versus the Barbie. That will be the exceptional matchup. That will be. Who knows what's going to happen there. Obviously, though, with the Royal Rumble, they were heavily advertising during it. Main event, main event, main event. When you win the Rumble, and people hope they'll be the main event. And then there's some people that say, you know, put Seth, Roman, and Punk in the main event, or put Cody in a main event. Do you think it really degrades the sentiment of the Royal Rumble if Charlotte or Jay don't main event WrestleMania this year?
Yeah, because she literally just won that to go to the main event. But also, like, I don't know what they're gonna do with the whole Punk stuff because I thought that spot was so cool. Like, I just want to see that match. Like, I want to see that match more than Jey Uso versus Gunther. Like, I don't even care if there's a championship on the line.
I mean, definitely a lot of people will be entertained by that. Three of the biggest stars in the WWE. It's something that's really going to grab people's attention. Obviously, coming back to home, Power Pro's been really killing it. Obviously, they've had a lot of great shows last year, and they've got shows coming up. One of them obviously is All on the Line, where all the championships will be defended. So let's throw a little game here. I'm going to mention the champions, and I want to know who do you want to face the champions on All the Line. So first of all is the Power, Robert Balfour and Ross Hunter. Who would you like to go against the tag team champions?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I wouldn't mind facing either one, but I would love to face Ross Hunter 100%. I feel like he started roughly the same age as, like, he was a junior at W3L and I was a junior at Power Pro, and we kind of both came up the same line together. Kind of looked up to him quite a bit, so it would be quite cool to have a challenge, and, you know, face him in a solos match.
Oh, hey, I mean, why not we throw something creative out there? You know, a tag team match. What if this could happen, Lexi? And your thoughts on this? What if we could see the Power Defender titles against yourself and Harmony Skye? Would that be a possible team up we could see?
I would love that, not gonna lie, because she's my girl. When I first started, she was the one that kind of mentored me. You know what? We do have history. I've kicked her ass like twice, but you know what? We're on the same page now. I'm not a spiteful cunt anymore. And you know what? She's not as, you know, not as much of a cunt as she used to be. She's quite chill now. And you know what? Maybe she could give me a reading soon and see where my future is, and maybe our future is the tag team championships.
Hey, that could be quite fun. I know them, the Power Boys. They're quite ruthless, so you'll have to be on your best awareness for them because they.
I literally work at the most famous golf course. I'm there all the time. They like to think that they own the golf world, but they probably don't even know how to hit a golf ball, let alone do professional wrestling.
Oh boy, the Power Boys ain't going to be happy when they hear this. Nonetheless. Obviously, as well, Power Pro has their main champion in Frank Gallo. He's been on quite an exceptional run, defeating many from the likes of Rob Drake, Niwa, Sam Gradwell. He's been absolutely killing it. Who do you think should step up to Frank's plate and maybe try and take that championship off him?
I'd like to see another Power Pro guy step up to the challenge. Like, get rid of all the guys coming from different companies. We need someone from our own company to step up. I'd like to see, me and Zach Swift have some fair share of history as well. And I bet his team. And we've not had a singles match since, but I would like to see him as champion. And then maybe we could have a championship match after all. Let's see who's the
modern gentleman throwing it down, the Queen of Queens. I mean, that's going to be quite a match up there nonetheless. But obviously, since we last talked, a new belt was introduced to Power Pro, the Women's Championship, which is obviously held by Kate Calloway, who defeated Daisy Jenkins in the final of the tournament. She now has that championship. Obviously, two main questions are your thoughts on Kate as champion, and who would you like to see Kate go against that all on the line?
I think Kate is so talented. She offers something that not many women in Scotland can offer. She's like a powerhouse. She reminds me of Beth Phoenix or Rhea Ripley. Like, she is a powerhouse in women's wrestling. Daisy Jenkins is absolutely amazing. She's just got that flair about her, and she just goes for it, and she never gives up, and that's what I like about Daisy Jenkins. I'd like to see them have another championship match, because after all, it was like she did kind of cheat to win. So let's have a fair match after all and see who's the better one.
A rematch of the ages. I'm sure that will be very, very, very contested match whenever Kate and Daisy do face each other in the ring again. Now, obviously, as well, Power Pro has got more things coming up this year, and I'm sure they'll be absolutely killing it. One thing I did see they've announced, obviously, for the 26th of April is Trouble in Tilly. They're going to Dilvenvale Hill in Tilly County. I mean, it's quite a far place away. It's branching out as well. And I know, obviously, Power Pro went to St. Andrews as well for their show. So just your thoughts on what this year could be for Power Pro, and the main word of that being expansion.
I think it's great to get our names out there. Not just sticking to the plain old Leven or Glenrothes. We're going different places in Fife. I really liked St. Andrews. It was close to work. I could get there easy. I could help out. It was easy for me. But I've never heard of teleculture in my life, so I had to Google Maps it yesterday. So far away. But you know what? That's good, because we want the other part of Fife to know who we are. Not just East Fife. We need the other side of Fife. We need all of Fife.
Oh yes, you need to conquer that country as well. And there's so many things going on as well. And something I've seen as well is a lot of collaboration going on. I know APW and CPW are collaborating a lot. Bleeding Gums is collaborating with Kumite and Rise in the deathmatch world. If there's a particular promotion you'd love to see Power Pro collaborate with that's in the UK scene, which one would it be?
I'd love to see like a close to home, like a disco. Like, I would like to see Power Pro and Discovery do like maybe like an Edinburgh kind of collab or something like that. I feel like that would be really cool. Joe Hendry's killing it. Hendry actually killing it, and the Discovery roster is packed. But I'm open to any collaborations, because I think collaborations actually open the door for other wrestlers. It's hard as a wrestler to, go to other companies, because they're obviously just going to book their own stars, and it's easier because they're closer to home. So it's kind of hard for us wrestlers, but I feel like collaborations open that door.
No, hey, you've hit the nail 100% on the head there. Collaboration is key, because if you just stay in the one place, yeah, you'll be exceptional in that field, but there's other fields to explore, other ways to do things, other knowledge, other opponents, other opportunities. And if you branch out, you get that opportunities. I mean, has there been any, real things that you've been really interested in? Is it just, opponents wise that you've seen in else places, or championship gold that you really like in other companies?
I mean, I may or may not have a championship match sometime soon.
Oh,
But yeah, no, I've been keeping my eyes on some places. Might not be in Scotland. I mean, your girl, I'm not gonna be here for very long. So I've been eyeing some places in Europe.
well, hey, fair play. Whether I'm sure it's Germany or France or Spain or heck, even Greece or Italy, I'm sure there'll be lots of places you can conquer in the European scene.
You know what? It's time for the Brits to reclaim control. It's time for us to conquer France again. You know what? Go show I'm made of.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be some fun people who will be enjoying that kind of statement. And we recently did touch upon Joe Hendry there, and Joe's ascended to levels TNA World Champion. He owns Disco Wrestling as well. He's done it all. Obviously, he's from Edinburgh, the best place in Scotland, in my fair opinion. But obviously, we've seen Drew. He's from Scotland as well. Piper Niven, Alba Fire also as well. Just your thoughts on Scottish wrestlers within the modern wrestling landscape, and why we've done so well for ourselves.
It's amazing what we've done for ourselves, though, right? Like, we are a small country. We have done so much, let alone just wrestling. As a country, as Scotland, we have done so much in this world that I think we all should be proud of our country, our nation, our culture. I think we just have that, like, fire in us. Like, I don't know what it is about us Scots, but like the English are boring as hell, and us Scots are just crazy. Like, have you ever seen a drag queen that fights? No, but of course she's Scottish. Like, honestly, Joe Hendry has done amazing for himself. Drew McIntyre in the Rumble. Was he in the Rumble? Yeah. Was amazing. He's like main title picture now, but wasn't he from like ICW or something?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Piper Niven on or Dewdrop, as you should say. Honestly, she's done amazing for herself. Love her with Chelsea Green. It's so funny in the Rumble. You know what gets me every time, so is when someone, that Jordan spot, and she lifts Piper up. If I was Piper, I'd be like, for Christ's sake, I'm not that heavy. Like, stop reacting. Like, I'm not that heavy. I'm not Nia Jax over here, but
that's the joys of it as well. We're a fun bunch. We're a comical, we're hardworking, and we can put up a fight when we need to be, because we're a fun bunch, the true Scottish ways. Obviously, Piper Niven, she's the Secretary in Defense for your Women's United States Champion, Chelsea Green, who's been absolutely killing it on the main roster of her championship run. But there's so many gold for the women now. You have the tags, you have the 2 mid-cards of the IC in the United States, the World, the WWE Championship. Heck, even going to NXT, you've got their women's, you've got their North American. You have so much women talent on there. But obviously, we've seen with some of the Raw shows that, and as well, obviously, with other companies, there's only really one match booked, or there's not real mid-card placements for the women's in some of these PLEs because they're limited to 5 persons. Do you think that's going to be a bit of a struggle for WWE going in the future if they don't increase their PLE counts with more matches and more showcases for these new belts?
is Raw like 2 hours or 3 hours now?
It's like 2.5.
Well, like, why not add that 30 minutes? Just get one of the, because it's not even just the new women's titles, which I don't get why they don't have more matches, because you've literally just introduced it. Like, are you dumb? Same with the tag titles. Same with the men's mid cards. Like, they only care about the big titles, but I feel like they need to focus a little bit more on the stories of the mid card titles.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's just going to be stale.
No, you're right there. And those tag titles, they weren't defended on PLE for a long time until the Rumble came up. Like WrestleMania last year, they were last on until the Rumble. So it just shows that passage of time. Do you think WWE has too many titles, or it's just time management?
I don't think there's too many titles because they do have a stacked roster, and I feel like without those titles, a lot of people wouldn't be showcased. Like you saw, before COVID, women's wrestling, like if it was back then in the US title and that was introduced, Mickie James would have a shot, Ember Moon would have a shot, like those mid-card superstars would get more of a shot, but they were just kind of like on the sidelines, like they were just there. Like, what were they doing with Mickie James?
Who knows at this point? Who knows? Obviously, Bayley has put the word out there in recent interviews that she feels like the time is now to pull the trigger on an Evolution 2, all women's pay-per-view, all women's PLE. If it can be done this year, Lexi, I want to know, where would you like it to be held? In a particular country or a particular state? Where would you like a possible Evolution 2 to be held?
Let me think. I just want like a show. I just want a show near me so I can go to it. If it's like, I just want it to be in like London or like Barcelona or something like that, like somewhere in Europe that I can go to it, because I need more Evolution shows. Because why did they scrap it after that one? That one was so good.
It's a question for the big wigs, Lexi. I have no insight on that opinion, sadly. My knowledge is just ground level at this point. It's the way things are, sadly. But, Lexi, we're coming to the end of our time here, and it's been a pleasure, as always, to have you back on. And you're an excellent guest. You've been doing so much, and it's great to see. So 2 final questions before we wrap up. One question is, obviously, we touched upon your Divas Live show, quite historic. You've done so much. I want to know, if you were to do a second one, would you keep it fully a drag show, or would you like to maybe incorporate wrestling into it?
I would love to incorporate wrestling into it, but I feel like I feel like, I'm next going to do shows when I'm in Madrid. There's more things there, more drag queens, more opportunities. I'll do the drag shows first. If it ever comes to it with the training school, I would more than happily do that. If the opportunity happened, I would 100% do a drag wrestling show. Why not?
Be an absolute banger indeed. It'd be a fun environment, and there'd be plenty of cocktails, so I can get absolutely pissed and pass out behind the bar. So I'm happy with that kind of statement there. Now, Lexi, the final question. This might be a fun one for you, so hopefully you'll enjoy this one. If you would obviously put on the second drag show, and you could take one member from the PWR Pro roster and put them in the drag show, who would you put in the drag show and why?
Oh my gosh, there's so many, because they're all so straight. They'd actually break their feet wearing heels. I'm not even telling, and let alone talking. Like, they would die. I'm trying to who's like the straightest guy. I feel like I'm trying to think of the rest of the names, because I'll just know them by their freaking government names. Hunter Sampson. I would die. Or Tommy Cartel would be so funny, because he already kind of acts like a drag queen himself. He just needs the look.
The look, the outfit, the makeup. Oh, that would be a funny one for the heart.
Or I would like to see Andy and Hannah reverse, like Hannah dressed up as Andy and Andy dressed up as Hannah. That would be pitch.
Oh, that would be something. That'd be definitely a good 8x10 they can sell on the merch tables for them. I think that would be quite a spectacle there, Lexi, and I'm sure that whatever you do, you'll be leading the charge and putting on a show nonetheless. Well, folks, as always, thank you, Lexi Kimbo, for returning here on the Soul Session. Of course, what you've learned with them, what you want to hear more, want to see what they do next, and obviously, if there's another Diva show, get yourself to it. I will put an Instagram link to Lexi's profile down below. You can click it, follow it, see their journey. Now about the humans who wanna live like animals do. No more laws and no more rules.